Before the mothership, before the arenas, before Parliament-Funkadelic became a global funk empire, there was a raw, untamed sound rising in the late 60s Detroit underground. A sound loud enough to shake the walls of soul music, bold enough to challenge rock and roll, and wild enough to open the door to a new kind of musical revolution. At the center of that storm stood the mysterious, fiery guitarist whose distorted riffs and psychedelic attack helped define the earliest and most dangerous era of Funkadelic. He wasn't flashy, he wasn't polished, but he was fearless. Yet, just as Funkadelic's star began to rise, he vanished from the scene. No farewell tour, no grand announcement, just silence. What happened to him? Why did one of Funkadelic's founding forces disappear at the height of the movement that he helped build? And how did his brief time with the band leave a permanent mark on the sound of funk, soul, and psychedelic rock? The centerpiece of today's video is all about Tawl Ross. Now, if you guys love my videos and love supporting me, then I suggest you become a member of the channel where I will be releasing exclusive videos just for you all. Be sure to get that family tier so you won't miss out on these exclusive perks. If you guys would love to connect with me outside of YouTube, then I am officially announcing that I am on Discord. Here, you can provide me with feedback on my recent uploads. You could drop your suggestions for future videos, or if you just want to chat it up about videos or about music in general, or just about anything, we could do it here. We could do it together. I hope to see you there. The link is in the description below. Now, before we start, let's be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and push that notification bell to be sure you won't miss out on any more content. Now, without further ado, let's cue that intro. Lucius Ross was born on October 5th, 1948 in Raygram, North Carolina, before eventually moving to Detroit, Michigan, a city that would soon become the center of the MOTOWN explosion. When it came to music, Ross wasn't chasing polished soul. He gravitated towards something more dirtier, louder, and more experimental. Influenced by blues, R&B, and the electric revolution of the late 60s guitar work, Ross brought a rough edge that stood apart from the Detroit smooth sound that was dominated by Motown. By the late 60s, he crossed paths with a barber turned music visionary named George Clinton, who was assembling a new kind of band, one that ignored the boundaries between funk, soul, and rock. Ross fit that vision perfectly. Before the world knew Funkadelic, there was the Parliaments, a vocal harmony group struggling with record contracts and identity. When legal issues forced them to take a step back from their name, George Clinton reinvented his musical approach. He's transformed the Parliaments backing musicians into their own unit, a wild, loud, rock-influenced band called Funkadelic. This was the moment that Tawl Ross stepped in fully into the spotlight. Alongside Eddie Hazel, Billy Bates Nelson, Tiki Fullwood, and Bernie Worrell, Tawl became part of one of the most evocative groups in American music. His playing added grit and psychedelic atmosphere to the early sessions. He wasn't just a guitarist, he was a sonic disruptor. On Funkadelic's first 3 albums, the self-titled album, Free Your Mind and Your Ass Will Follow, and Maggot Brain, Ross' fingerprints was everywhere. He brought chaos, texture, and attitude to the band. On early tracks like Mommy, What's a Funkadelic and Music for My Mother, Ross rhythm guitar doesn't just support the music, it pushes it into a new territory. And on the song, I Got a Thing, You Got a Thing, Everybody's Got a Thing, his playing becomes the bridge between rock aggression and funk rhythm. Eddie Hazel may be remembered as the star guitarist of P-Funk, but Ross was a foundation that gave Hazel the room to soar. Funkadelic wasn't a typical band, it was a laboratory, a place where boundaries didn't exist. And experimentation was encouraged to the extreme. Drugs, long jam sections, and creative access was part of daily life. Ross was swept into this explosive environment, a space where brilliant innovation and dangerous lifestyles collided. The band was creating groundbreaking music, but it was also living on the edge. And for Ross, that edge was getting closer. In 1971, at the height of Funkadelic's early momentum, Ross suddenly vanished for the music scene. No announcements, no interviews, and no farewell concerts, just silence. The reason shared was only in fragments over the years. Ross suffered a severe reaction to LSD during the band's heavy experimentation phase. The incident left his physical and mental health profoundly affected, which was reported to have resulted in brain damage. Unable to continue performing, touring, or recording, he stepped away from Funkadelic entirely. For fans, it felt like the brilliant flame had gone out overnight. For Funkadelic, it marked the end of an era. After leaving the band, Ross returned to North Carolina. He avoided interviews and industry attention, choosing a quiet, private life far removed from the music chaos that he left behind. For decades, his name existed in only liner notes and rumors. He became one of funk's great mysteries, a pioneer who disappeared before the world truly understood his contributions. But the impact of his work endured. Musicians studied his rhythm patterns. Rock and funk fans praised the early Funkadelic sound he helped shape. His playing lived on in samples, reissues, and cult followings. Even in silence, Ross' influence continued to resonate. In the 90s and early 2000s, rare interviews and appearances began to surface. Fans discovered that Ross was alive, well, and still connected to music in his own quiet way. In 1995, after nearly a 25-year absence, Ross released a solo album that was titled Instrumental Vaseline. This album offered a glimpse into the lifestyle that he never got the chance to fully explore. The album wasn't widely promoted, but for those who found it, the album felt like a message from a long-lost chapter of Funkadelic. Today, Ross remains one of the most unrecognized contributors to African American rock music, but his fingerprints are everywhere in the P-Funk universe. The rawness of early Funkadelic, the fusion of rock and funk, the psychedelic textures, and the rebellious attitude. Ross helped create a blueprint that influenced generations of artists from Prince to Red Hot Chili Peppers, from Outkast to Thundercat. His story is a reminder that not all legends stand in the spotlight. What he did was something far more powerful. He left a sound that helped change the direction of black music forever. His time in Funkadelic may have been brief, but his influence was permanent. Ross remains one of funk music's most mysterious pioneers, a guitarist whose light burned bright, fast, and left a mark that still echoes today. On January 3rd, 2024, Ross passed away at the age of 75. Now, before we go, I have a question for you all. What other members from the P-Funk Collective who you would like to see a tribute video on?